Hi, this is OKCoyote. Welcome to my Magic the Gathering December Pack a Day Challenge for December 17th. Today's pack is Aether Revolt. Now, if you are watching this video and wondering what it is I'm doing, what is the Pack a Day Challenge? This is what it is. There are 31 days in December. I have 31 all different packs of Magic the Gathering, all different sets, and we are opening them all, one a day. Why am I doing this? Because I want to. A lot of these packs most of these packs, in fact, all of the first 24 are Pioneer legal, so they're all from Return to Ravnica forwards, and many of them are in sets that I have not played because I was taking a break from the game, including this one. This is Aether Revolt. I believe this is the second Kaladesh set, which was an interesting plane that I was not around for. It featured energy. I played a little bit of Kaladesh when I played Magic Arena in beta, and then again when it came back as Kaladesh Remastered, but just a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not too familiar with what is in this set, but we're going to find out what's in this pack together. So let's get into it. All right, we start off with Conviction. This is 1 and a white for an enchantment aura. Enchanted creature gets +1/+3. Pay a white to return Conviction to its owner's hand. So, it's another way to try to make auras better by giving you a chance to save the aura if something happens to the creature it's enchanting and recast it later, or just, move it around as needed. That said, this one in particular is not great. It's not a huge power boost. The toughness boost is kind of nice, but probably not worth a spot in my draft deck. Next up, we have Ether Chaser. 1 and a red. I gonna just say I hope there's also a card called Ether Shot, because now we have the Chaser. No. Look, the thing about becoming a dad is that all jokes become dad jokes. So I heard that somewhere. Anyway, Ether Chaser, 1 and a red. It's a 2/1 human artificer. It has first strike. When Ether Chaser enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. Whenever Ether Chaser attacks, you may pay 2 energy counters. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. I like this card. It's solid. A 2/1 first strike for 2 is pretty good. It makes itself a 1/1 to go with it, potentially more, as if you have other ways of creating energy. Yeah, pretty neat. Nice, aggressive, cheap red card. Shipwreck Moray is 3 and a blue for a 0/5 fish. When it enters the battlefield, you get 4 energy counters. You may pay 1 energy. Shipwreck Moray gets +2/-2 until end of turn. Okay, so you could make it a 2/3, or you could pay 2 and make it a 4/1. Yeah, all right. Blue has often had creatures like this with the shiftable power and toughnesses. I don't feel that they're very strong, but they're always interesting. This is kind of a neat take on it. Plus, even if you just want to sit back and keep it as a big defender, it does provide a lot of energy for some of the other cards you may have in your deck. So yeah, it's not too bad. Etherherder. This is 3 and a green for a 3/3 elf artificer druid. When Etherherder enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy counters. We're getting a lot of energy in this pack. Whenever Etherherder attacks, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature token. So this is just like the Chaser, except it's bigger and it's green. And it doesn't have first strike. Yeah, just like the Chaser, this is pretty decent. It's a 3/3 for 4. Makes at least 1/1/1. I would be fine playing with this. I don't think this is as strong as the 2/1 first striker, but it's not bad. Nightmarket Aeronaut. 3 and a black for a 2/2 Etherborn warrior. It has flying and a Revolt. Nightmarket Aeronaut enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. So 2/2 flyer, maybe a 3/3 flyer if something died. Which is generally what's going to make this good. 2/2 flyer for 4 is not strong. A 3/3 flyer for 4 is better. That's pretty good. That's in the pretty good territory. So hopefully you have a trigger to make this work. Otherwise, it's not going to be very strong. Heck, you can even it can be any permanent you control. You can just crack an Evolving Wilds or something, and there you go. You're good. There's a lot of ways to trigger something like that. Anyway, Silkweaver Elite. 2 and a green for a 2/2 elf archer. It has reach and revolt. When Silkweaver Elite enters the battlefield, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, draw a card. Well, we just talked about revolt and what it does and how to trigger it. This is not too bad. 2/2 reach. If you get a card draw off of it, it's a great card. If you don't, a 2/2 reach for 3 is a good card. Verdant Automaton. 2 mana for a 1/2 artifact creature construct. And it has pay 3 and a green to put a +1/+1 counter on Verdant Automaton. Generally, common artifact creatures are not great. This one is no different. This can get big if it's left unchecked, but generally this is not going to get big. It's generally going to be annoying and then go away. My opinion. It's generally not going to live long enough to get to the point where it's big enough to justify putting it on the field in the first place. Ice Over. 1 and a blue for an enchantment aura. Enchant artifact or creature. Enchanted Permanent doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Blue's best removal are these cards that can tap down a creature and keep them tapped down. So this is for 2 mana, this is a great example of one, and it can target an artifact too. The only downside is it doesn't tap the creature or artifact, so they have to attack you first, or or if it's untapped, they'll still get an attack out of it or something like that. You're not opening a line to get your creatures through exactly. It has to be they have to willingly tap the creature or have a creature that they've already tapped. But still pretty good. For 2 mana, still pretty good. Watchful Automaton. This is an artifact creature construct. It costs 3. It is 2/2. You can pay 2 and a blue to scry 1. Okay, it's slightly better than the Verdant Automaton, but I think still just not that fantastic. It's not really something special. Just a way to get some colored abilities onto colorless cards is kind of what these are. Moving into the uncommons, we have Ironclad Revolutionary. This is 4 black for a 4/4 Etherborn Artificer. When Ironclad Revolutionary enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Ironclad Revolutionary, and each opponent loses 2 life. Okay, now this, I would run one of those automatons for something like this. To get a 6/6 for 6 mana is pretty decent. Again, you'd have to have the cards to make this work, though, because a 4/4 for 6 mana is not going to be a good deal. So I'd have to be really confident I could make this work if I was going to put this in my deck. We have another artifact and a vehicle besides. It is Daredevil Dragster. This is 3 mana for a 4/4 when it's crewed. Artifact vehicle. At end of combat, if Daredevil Dragster attacked or blocked this combat, put a velocity counter on it. Then, if it has 2 or more velocity counters on it, sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. And it has crew 2. So you can tap any number of creatures you control with total power 2 or more. This vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. I was going to say that sacrificing this after using it twice is not great. Now the fact that it draws 2 cards when that happens is better, but it's still not great. This doesn't really threaten the board so much if your opponent knows it's just going to go away after you just punch face with it a couple of times. So I don't think I'm not excited about it. That's all. Thopter Arrest. 2 and a white for an enchantment. When Thopter Arrest enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until Thopter Arrest leaves the battlefield. So this is Oblivion Ring. This is typically white has a card like this in every set. This is the card that takes something out of the off the battlefield unless this enchantment gets destroyed. Generally, these enchantments don't get destroyed, so usually this is a very strong removal spell. I like it. I would pick it very high. Before we get to our rare, let's see what else we have in the pack. We have a little token here to keep track of our energy reserve. You can just set this off to the side. It says place your energy counters in this area. So if you want to throw some coins on it or some dice, anything like that, this is how you keep track of how much energy you have, where it looks kind of cool and you're not just writing a number down. Next, we have our basic land, and it is a forest. There we go. We also have a foil in this pack. It's a foil common. It is Implement of Combustion. There it is. I'll turn it a bit so you see the shine. Whee! This is a 1 mana artifact. You can pay a red and sacrifice Implement of Combustion. It deals 1 damage to target player. When Implement of Combustion is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. This is not strong on its own. It's very cheap. It has a cheap effect. It replaces itself. But why do you need it in the first place? Generally, when you need to have an artifact in play, that's when you're going to need something like this. Otherwise, it's not very good. And our rare for this pack is Baral, Chief of Compliance. It is 1 and a blue for a 1/3 legendary creature, human wizard. It says instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So this is a fantastic card. It's probably fun and constructed. I'm sure it's great in Commander. I don't know how high I put this in Draft, though. It's just, I think it's one of those cards that's good in some formats and not in others. Because I don't know how many times you're going to draft cards that work well with it. Like, looking at this pack, I didn't even get any other blue instants and sorceries, and I didn't get any spells that counter anything. So I'm just not sure how good this would be in this format, in a draft format. So I don't think I would first pick this card in this pack. I think what I would first pick is going to be the Thopter Arrest, because removal is removal, and this is going to be the best removal card in this pack. So yeah, I think that's what I would go with. So that's it. That's going to do it for this pack of Theros. Don't forget to like this video if you liked this video. You can also subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me over on Twitter at OKCoyote. That'll do it for this pack of Theros and the Pack a Day Challenge. Be sure to tune back in tomorrow for another pack. Thanks. Bye.